Hello everyone and welcome to this new episode of Business Africa. I'm Dayoka. Coming up, King Mohammed VI celebrates 25 years on the throne, marked by profound reforms. We will take a look at the advances that have redefined the Moroccan landscape under his rule. Digitalization is gathering momentum in Africa. This acceleration is accompanied by the intensification of cyberattacks, highlighting the urgency of strengthening the continent's digital defenses. Nigeria has announced the creation of a ministry to end conflicts between herders and farmers. We will see how this initiative could promote peace. During the past quarter of a century, King Mohammed VI has led an economic and social revolution in Morocco. This period was marked by significant progress, but challenges shaping the country's future persist.
In 25 years of rule since his accession to the throne in 1999, King Mohammed VI has orchestrated a major economic and social transformation, positioning Morocco as a model of success in Africa. At the dawn of his sovereignty, Morocco faced significant challenges: high illiteracy rates, disparities between rural and urban areas, and a stagnant Human Development Index. In response, Mohammed VI launched the National Initiative for Human Development in 2005, investing massively to improve living standards. Educational reforms increased the enrollment rate of 6-year-old children from 53.7% in 1999 to 95% in 2013, and the education budget doubled. In the health sector, the number of facilities tripled and the budget quadrupled, with initiatives like mandatory health insurance expanding access to care. Economically, Morocco has become a global logistic hub thanks to foreign investments, attracting more than $37 billion in investments between 2007 and 2023. The GDP surpassed 1.4 trillion dirham in 2023, equivalent to $145 billion after a slight decline in 2020 due to the pandemic. Despite these advances, social inequalities and youth unemployment remain challenges. Social reforms are underway to extend social protection to all Moroccans by 2025. Combining economic modernization with social progress, in 25 years of reign, Mohammed VI has transformed his country, laying the foundation for a prosperous future, with growth expected at 3.3% in 2023 and 3.5% in 2026.
Hicham Lemesi, an international strategy analyst and secretary of GIPRI, joins us to get more on this. Welcome to Business Africa, sir. What are key sectors that drove Morocco's economic growth under Mohammed VI?
Our record is extremely positive. If you look at Morocco's GDP in 1999 and today, it has almost doubled in the space of a generation. Morocco has in fact embarked on genuine industrial development because the country was mainly focused on agriculture. The small amount of industry that Morocco had was mainly linked to textiles. Today, Morocco is also Africa's leading exporter of automobiles. Moroccan industry has also become part of the aeronautics value chain with the presence of Airbus and Boeing. We've already talked about the textile industry, which achieved significant results last year, with exports worth 4 billion euros. But we could also mention other sectors linked to the agri-food industry. Morocco is clearly considered by many specialists and rating agencies as an emerging economy.
How has this strategy, which consists in diversifying partners, shaped the kingdom's bilateral ties and economy?
Morocco found it extremely difficult to break away from the Cold War model. For a very long time, Morocco was, in quotation marks, the preserve of Western countries, and Morocco had a very exclusive relationship with France. There was a search for diversification. The King of Morocco has sought out new strategic partnerships with China and Russia, and has also opened up relations with the Gulf states, a relatively long-standing relationship. And above all, in new African policy, notably in West Africa, where Morocco has become the leader, surpassing French companies, particularly in banking and finance.
Morocco has heavily invested in industrialization and logistics. How did it affect the nation's influence in the world?
If we take Tanger Med, for example, which is one of the world's top 20 container ports, Morocco has made full use of its geographical position between Europe, Africa, and the Americas. Today, in terms of FDI, Morocco has accumulated almost $70 billion in inflows. There have been major investments in infrastructure. There's been a search for excellence, particularly in the university and technical training fields. Then there were regulations guaranteeing that any foreign investor could be exempt from all taxation for 5 years and, above all, benefit from an investment code that remained unchanged for 10 years. And that's Morocco's great success story.
Can Morocco be considered a model of success for African nations?
Morocco is a prime example of successful industrial development. Then, on the weak points, what we need to look at is that we have pockets of heavy poverty that constitute a very important political, economic, and social challenge. In terms of international policy, Morocco has sought diversification with major emerging powers. It has also highlighted strategic partnerships with countries that pose problems for the Moroccan population. I'm thinking in particular of Israel. Finally, there is another factor, the closure of borders with Algeria. Algeria is currently experiencing an incredible economic boom with a colossal infrastructure development effort, and indicators that are proving that Algeria is the major regional power for the years to come. This is damaging for both countries because they could benefit enormously from it.
Thank you, Hicham Lemesi.
You are welcome.
Cybercrime cost Africa $4 billion in 2022. Experts highlight the urgency of enhancing cybersecurity to counter this threat.
Cybercrime across Africa is rising, presenting challenges for individuals, businesses, and governments. In 2022, cybercrime in Africa is estimated to have cost around $4 billion. The attacks are becoming increasingly sophisticated, targeting numerous sectors, including critical infrastructure. Cybercrime specialist Samuel Udibo highlights a fundamental problem.
Historically speaking, cybersecurity hasn't been taken seriously in Africa. Right now, what we're having is there is a big awareness gap because a lot of ministries and agencies within these organizations haven't had the training or the skill set or the toolings or the budget.
Cybercriminals exploit security weaknesses for personal gain and threaten businesses. To counteract these threats, experts have identified that artificial intelligence could bring solutions. However, AI also risks being exploited by cybercriminals and will need to be regulated.
What's the implementation is probably where I would say one of the challenges is, because how many organizations are actually, one, aware of these legislations, two, how many organizations are actually implementing these legislations, and three, the budget. How are the government supporting the private sectors to ensure that what it says in the regulation is then implemented within the ecosystem? I see AI coming in as an opportunity to augment and complement what companies are doing. So what we found is normally, even if you haven't in principle got the most experienced expert in your company, you can still put it into a computer system and get some high-level best practice knowledge and feedback.
By investing in infrastructure and educating citizens, the continent can protect itself from cyber threats and prosper in the digital age. Franck Quier, General Commissioner of the Cyber Africa Forum, estimates that AI could add $1.2 billion to Africa's GDP between now and 2030.
In a new attempt to resolve conflicts between herders and farmers, Nigeria has created a Ministry of Livestock Development. Tessa Makende reports.
According to online conflict database Next Year, crises between herders and farmers in Nigeria have led to over 60,000 deaths since 2001. This has affected food production, with food inflation surging to 41% in May this year, compared to 25% last year.
A lot of blood has been shed. A solution to the problem will be welcome.
Not all herders allow their cattle to stray into farms, but I also can't argue that there are no bad ones. We will support a way forward.
The traditional method of livestock farming, where herders graze in open fields, is expected to be reviewed by the new ministry, with input from state governments and other important players. Agriculture experts say creating another ministry when the country already has a Ministry of Agriculture won't help much without accountability checks.
We have to create efficiency. And our biggest opening is actually to create a circular bioeconomy, whereby they are interdependent, they run in cycles. If they run in cycles and they co-benefit, you've solved most of the problems.
The country's president, Bola Tinubu, says the ministry will be given all the support it needs to succeed and subjected to a performance bond with consequences for failure. He says the livestock sector, when properly harnessed, will go beyond the supply of meat, hides and skin, and also contributes to dairy production. The president believes this will also enhance export opportunities for the country, thereby reducing conflict between pastoralists and arable farmers.
That does it for this episode of Business Africa. You can watch it again on Africanews.com and on all our platforms. Bye for now.